Mycenaean civilization has fallen to ruin, and the rule of the Aegean is up for grabs. In the midst of this chaos, your city-state of Athens has managed to survive and even prosper, expanding throughout much of Attica. The local agricultural supply is not enough to support your burgeoning population, however, and before long overpopulation is sure to lead to famine and anarchy. The ruling council has decided on a bold plan to send settlers to establish overseas settlements in Ionia. The local Luwians have inhabited this region for centuries, but they are far too weak to repel your people. Demonstrate your dominance of the region. Seize the initiative quickly before famine strikes, or the Luwians decide to raid Attica and the rest of Greece.
And with this, I welcome you to a new episode of our Glory of Greece campaign, and today we are going to colonize Ionia. To achieve our goal, we have to destroy the 3 Luwian government centers, and for that we are going to need a strong navy. The Aegean pirates are holding important resources on the nearby islands, and we can take advantage of our trade with our Athenian allies. And I remember that when I first played this mission, it took me forever and 3 days, because the enemy was constantly sending new ships and were constantly repairing their dockyards. So I think this time I want to turtle up as much as possible, and then focus on rushing down into the Iron Age and to level up our ships as quickly as possible. For that we are going to need large amounts of wood, we are going to need large amounts of food, and we need to constantly defend our island. At the moment our economy is starting to get into motion, and we're going to send our scout ships out to figure out where the enemy is. If we are able to damage the enemy pirates as quickly as possible, we should be able to get a foothold relatively quickly. We found an enemy dockyard, and it would be wise to destroy it before the enemy has a chance to build up their forces. And as we have enough wood, I'm going to build up a second dockyard down here so that our trading boat can reach the Athenian dockyards quicker. This is of course going to reduce our trading value, because that is determined by distance, but it is going to make all of this easier to defend. We are now under attack by enemy scout ships, but we should have an easy time defeating those because we have more boats. Let's get back with this one to bait the enemy around. And there goes the first enemy ship. The most of our ships are repaired once more, meaning that we can attack the enemy port facilities, and we got our first fishing boat, allowing us to plunder nature's natural resources. We also have a couple guys on stone, we have 1 guy on gold, and 4 people bringing in some food. Soon we should be able to build up our government centers and temples so that we can progress into the Iron Age. And because we currently do not have to be afraid of any enemy, we started a landing party to get onto the enemy island. Unfortunately, we are getting attacked by an enemy tower, but we should be able to deal with that with our soldiers. This guy down here seems to be boxed in. Nope, he got out. Let's quickly send some people to deal with that. And this dockyard is almost destroyed. Some casualties are of course expected, but if you can clear out this island, we already have a nice little foothold. In the meantime, we need to get some more villagers out to get more food, as our trading with our allies is constantly draining our food reserves. The enemy was able to build up a transport ship, and they are attacking us with another scout ship. Okay, we're going to try to abandon this attack and try to get our people out. Before that, I want to destroy this dockyard for good. And there goes our last scout ship. Only one of our guys can attack the enemy port, but yes, we were able to get it down. Let's get our people back to our main island. We are also under immediate danger of getting attacked, and therefore we are going to build up a couple watchtowers, and as soon as we have the resources, we are going to upgrade them to sentry towers. We have our academy up and running, soon our siege workshop is also there, and then we need to grind out a lot of resources so that we can advance to the Iron Age. Okay, a little while has passed and we are beginning to accumulate a lot more resources, but now we are getting attacked by an enemy scout ship. Our war galley should be strong enough to defeat that foe, and in the meantime we are building up some hoplites to defend our base, and we are upgrading our merchant ships. A lot of time has passed and we are finally able to upgrade to the Iron Age. Maybe this is not the best strategy that we could go for, but I think it might be worth it to rush down, getting to the Iron Age and then attack the enemy once we are fully prepared, so that we are able to get a huge advantage on our technology over our enemy first. And we are now officially in the Iron Age. We're going to pop down a government center over here so that we can upgrade our people more. And we are also going to upgrade our towers towards guard towers. Soon we are also able to recruit phalanxes. And we can build some ballistas soon. With this, our base should be very well protected against any form of invasion. And within due time we can also recruit some triremes, and then we can upgrade further to absolutely obliterate our enemies. We can see that they have also upgraded to war galleys. So this is now a race for the better technology. Our first objective is to discover writing so that we can explore the map with our allies. And now we can see a whole lot more of the map. There are a couple large islands that we might be able to exploit soon, and we can see that our Athenian friends are attacking our enemies. This is very good. This might allow us to not have to fight as many of them. We can see that the enemy has ports over here, some gathering sites over here, and of course the base that we had previously discovered. So I guess that the pirate faction is going to be our first target as soon as we have the resources for an adequate war fleet. We can see that the enemy has a large amount of ports and they are constantly rebuilding those once we have destroyed one. And this means that we have to be very well prepared to start our attacks. Okay, it has been a short while and we were able to upgrade our ships to triremes. We are also researching the necessary technology to upgrade them further, and it is now time to bring the fight to our enemy. My goal is to knock out this faction as quickly as possible, and thanks to our overwhelming firepower, this should be an easy task. We are slowly running out of resources on our own island, meaning that very soon we will have to advance, and my first target is, I think, this place down here. Our ships in the meantime are damaging the enemy infrastructure, and then we're going to push up over here, where I think the enemy is getting the majority of their wood supplies. Our forces have now arrived and we can begin to arrest the enemy civilian population. After that we are going to descend down on their ports, and we're going to try to make their life as miserable as somehow humanly possible. And if we're able to secure the resources to build catapult triremes, this is going to be a massive help. The first enemy storage pit got down, and now we are attacking their villagers. Our fire is not very coordinated, but we get a couple hits. And over here we have found an enemy light transport ship. Wonderful. There's an enemy war galley. Let's get that one destroyed. And whenever the enemy tries to build up something and is stationary, we are going to kill off their villagers. It looks like we have a willing repairman. Very nice. And it seems like an enemy was down here. We now have 2 ballistas ready. With those we can defend our port. And we almost have the resources needed to make catapult triremes. Let's get everyone focused on the enemy dockyards. And with this, the first enemy dock is down. Now we're going to focus on that one, and in the meantime we need to prepare slowly for an invasion force. We have run out of gold reserves on our own island. Let's make sure these people therefore produce wood. And ideally one of you is going to build up a market. We don't have one of those yet. Alrighty, we were able to knock out a large portion of the enemy infrastructure. And now I want to target this place down here. We know that the enemy has a port, we know that the enemy has a barracks in the area, and we know that they have stone, gold and wood. Stuff that we very much need. Enemy ship destroyed, and we have enough people for our transport ship. We have 3 villagers ready that are going to join us. And these 2 can focus on producing more wood for our massive navy. Our ship has made it onto the enemy island, and we are now unloading our soldiers. The immediate task is to destroy the enemy barracks, and the rest of our people are going to build up a quick storage pit. From there on out we should be able to produce all the stone and the gold that we would ever need down here. And now it is time to move the boys back up onto the ship and move on to our next target. We have the space and the resources to build up a quick barracks. And I think we can attack down here without having support from our war fleet. Very good, we got through that first ship with these. And it looks like we might even be able to attack the enemy dock. But before that we need to unload our people and get rid of that enemy tower. And before we can proceed, the enemy fleet was there to stop us. But we slowly gather the resources to build up some catapult ships. Our ships are ready for the next attack, and this time we are also going to bring a siege ship to the engagement. And the plan is to hit the guard tower, then destroy the dockyard, and then move on to this tower down here. The enemy has a strong navy and they are not going to let us attack them unopposed, and we can see that they're bringing a war galley down as well. But we are able to deal with that with ease. They have a couple more ships down here. Let's make sure that we can focus our fire. And it almost seems like we can attack the enemy tower without getting into range ourselves. Or well, at least we were able to do that for a short while. We have successfully cleared this island, meaning that we can have another place to gather some resources from. And I want to send our ship down here to have a little forward operating base onto the enemy. Enemy tower is down. We are taking a casualty. But so far the operation is going. We can attack the enemy guard tower now. And I think this island might be very well equipped to build up a forward operating base. The plan is that we're going to build up a couple dockyards over here, a couple academies and a siege workshop. And then we should be able to hit those docks and continuously bully the enemy. We are going to leave our catapult ship over here to deal with the enemy dockyard, and in the meantime these ships are going to deal with the enemy war galley, as it is continuously hitting our phalanxes. I'm going to leave our catapult ship that is burning over here where it is relatively safe, and the rest of our ships are going to deal with the enemy navy. In the meantime, our phalanxes have to unfortunately tank the damage. Let's build up 2 dockyards in our rear. And it is about time that we send our catapult fleet down to deal with the enemy dockyards. The rest of our ships for the moment can focus on destroying the other docks. And we need to gather our phalanxes. So far we do not have a priest to heal them, but we will get that in due time. And the enemy has more catapults. I think we should abandon this attack until further notice. Let's get those guys back, and we have a problem. The enemy has sent out more catapults. It looks like they are mass producing those now. And we need to try to destroy those before they can destroy all of our hard work. Okay, we have suffered a little setback. Our navy got obliterated by enemy catapults. But ideally we should be able to build up some towers over here to keep our people relatively safe. We are unfortunately going to lose a bunch of stuff, and their catapults are actually able to hit us. Okay, now we have ran into a little issue. Our food supply is running low and we are running out of stone. And we are currently unable to compete with the enemy navy. The problem is that their catapults are able to reach our island and do exactly that with us that I wanted to do to them. Okay, currently we are in a little bit of a pickle. The enemy was able to recover their losses a lot quicker than us. And it is going to take a whole lot of time until our economy is up and running again. At the moment we are building up a couple towers down here and a storage pit so that we can exploit those resources. And we have just lost another ship. Let's try to kite that around so that our tower over here can help us in the defense. Come on, focus on the most damaged ship. Yeah, there goes our last ship for the moment. Luckily we have that tower over here that should be able to help us with the defense a fair bit. Down here another tower is almost up and running. And our big problem at the moment is wood. We could of course spam out a massive army and try to land, but the enemy has a whole lot of catapults and other infantry. That is going to make this landing very, very dangerous. But there's one thing that I think we can do. We can prepare to land onto the island of the pirates and make sure that we get rid of those first. Okay, it took a while, but we were finally able to get some new ships out, and I have to say that this fire galley is looking very impressive. We're also trying to build up a couple archers down here to protect our wood gathering island. Oh, I like this. I like this very much. Yeah, I think I'm going to order a couple more of those. And in the meantime, we have also been able to recruit a little invasion force that we're going to send against the pirates. I have to admit that at the moment we are still struggling, but finally we were able to get a couple troops out and land on the enemy island. The idea is to make as much havoc as possible and then slowly work our way towards our enemies. It looks like these archers aren't even able to hit those war galleys. Let's send our freshly built up navy down. It is going to take a long while until they are there, but at least we now finally have something to defend us with. Our biggest concern are still enemy catapults. But over here our offensive is working as intended. More ships are down here. Alrighty, we have destroyed the pirates' town center. We have found a couple more civilians. And we're going to destroy their barracks. This way they should be very much out of the way. Over here our fight against the pirates is looking good. We are about to destroy the next town center. And hopefully our fire galleys are able to destroy the enemy war galley before the onslaught of enemy artillery is going to turn us into plywood. Well, it looks like we aren't able to do that. In our northern front, things are looking up. We have bullied the pirates quite extensively. They're still in the fight, they still have some people down here, but we are now also finally able to hit some enemy villagers. If we're able to disrupt their wood supply, they might be forced to abandon their massive shipbuilding projects, and then we are finally able to target their catapults. I'm also going to pump out a couple villagers so that we can finally set foot on the enemy main base. And from there on out I want to lay siege continuously to the enemy positions, because whenever we try to attack down here we are getting stopped by an absolute onslaught of catapults. Okay, we have found an additional pirate town center. It doesn't look like they're actually able to fight, and it looks like this might be the way to the enemy heartland. Currently we're working on sending some villagers down, and as soon as we are there we are going to build up a proper siege camp. If we are unable to get through to the enemy the direct way, we are going to bombard them into tuition from here, because it looks like we can use this place as an artillery platform. Currently we are in a little bit of a pickle. The enemy has sent artillery to deal with our cavalry, but luckily our quick horsemen are able to destroy those artillery pieces with relative ease. We have our first town center up and running. And I think it is finally also time to use our many storage pits to upgrade all of our facilities in one sweep go. And while we are waiting for everything to set up, I think it would be a good idea to send our cavalry out for a little scouting mission. Every catapult that we destroy is going to cost our enemies a lot of money. And that is something that is going to make me very happy. We have found 4 catapults down here. Let's send our warships down as well. Maybe we are able to get those things destroyed before they can do too much harm. Okay, it seems like we are able to distract them a fair bit. And this is these catapults finally dealt with. Let's retreat our boys. We are currently building up some academies in the area. And we are also going to build up a couple stables. I think one of the best things that we can do is to spam out cavalry to deal with the enemy catapults and then phalanxes for the rest. And in the meantime, we are of course going to burn down every enemy ship that is so foolish to greet us. We now have 2 academies, 2 stables, a siege workshop, and we are also working on a temple. And we now have our very first catapult. We're going to send that over here. We should be able to bombard the enemy town center. And we are soon also going to have our very first priest to heal up our troops. And then we are simply going to attack the enemy again and again and again until they have to give up. And it looks like the pirates still have 1 villager at some place because they're continuously able to rebuild new structures. Come on, guys. Very good. And our catapult is actually able to hit far and wide into the enemy rear. The enemy temple is about to go down. Hopefully we're even able to hit the guard towers and the government center, as well as their stables. We got another catapult out. It is also starting to besiege the enemy, and we're going to send our cavalry out to attack the enemy once more. In the meantime, we are continuously getting harassed by the enemy fleet. But we are going to send that to the bottom of the ocean. As long as we manage to stay away from the enemy catapults, that shouldn't be too much of an issue. And yes, we are able to hit the enemy government center, we are able to hit their stables, and our catapults are continuously going to harass the enemy. In the meantime, we are going to send our cavalry out to scout out where the enemy is and hopefully destroy a couple more of their catapults so that we can finally begin the bombardment from the sea. And the entire time we are continuously recruiting more phalanxes. It looks like we were able to get into the enemy rear. They have a catapult in the area. Let's send our cavalry out to deal with that. And there is another villager. And I now begin to wonder how strong the enemy still is. Let's get our fire ships back before they get destroyed. And we have found more of their catapults. Come on, just because you have lost sight doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. And it looks like this might have been the last of them. Alrighty, let's send everyone down to destroy the enemy ships. And we are now also able to send down all of our hoplites. There's another one of their stone throwers. Where is our cavalry? The enemy is still able to defend itself. My biggest target is currently the enemy artillery. They are our biggest threat, and I want our cavalry to wreak havoc in the enemy rear lines. The rest of our ships, I want to destroy as many of their port facilities as possible, because whenever the enemy tries to rebuild those, we should be able to deal a whole lot of damage to them. And our phalanxes are going to attack the enemy positions that we have found over there. And it actually looks like we have lost our catapults. Let's get out a little bit more cavalry. We are going to need it. And you guys, can you finally attack up to that position, please? We still have a couple catapult ships. They can begin the destruction of the objective, and our fire ships can destroy this war galley. And I have the feeling that our long preparation time might be working out for us. We found another port down here. Let's send a couple ships down, while the rest of us are going to continuously harass the enemy wherever they're stationed. I want these ships up here to make sure that they cannot rebuild a port. And in the meantime, we are going to descend down on the enemy military buildings. We have reached our population limit, and it is time to press into the enemy rear. We are going to destroy as many of their villages as possible. We are going to take a couple casualties towards the enemy towers. But it hardly matters anymore. We can see that they are starting to build up more ports. But we now have the strength to deal with them whenever we encounter them. And there goes our cavalry. Let's send this one back to the forces that we are currently building up. And let's also order a couple more phalanxes. The enemy town center is destroyed, and now we need to push forward. They're sending out chariots and a couple hoplites. It looks like we have now angered the majority of their army. Maybe it would be a good idea to wait for reinforcements and for siege weapons, but I am not willing to do that at the moment. And we can now see the front lines shifting. We are losing a lot of people, but we are able to hit their production facilities. Come on, guys. Stay on target. And we are slowly chewing through their defenses. Our next objective is going to be these towers, and then we can get onto the government center. And it looks like not all of our people are actually able to hit the tower. We're going to send a couple directly onto the town center. And we can see that the guard tower is slowly crumbling. And with that, the last enemy defense is destroyed. The government center is also about to get burned down. And we finally are victorious.
Thanks to your charismatic leadership, the Athenians have successfully established settlements on the coast of Asia in Ionia. Other nearby city-states have followed your example, and the eastern Aegean has fallen almost entirely under Hellenic influence. As time passes, you watch with pride as settlements such as Miletus and Halicarnassus grow into successful urban centers, producing several marvelous architectural wonders and numerous philosophers, geographers, and mathematicians. Commerce is abundant, and the growing trade routes contribute greatly to the wealth of your city-state.
and after only a short hour and 40 minutes we were able to achieve victory. We had by far the strongest military, our economy is on the second place, and we are also leading in technology. We killed over 217 enemies, we razed 112 buildings and lost 75 of our soldiers. And if you take a look at the timeline, you can see that we had quite the struggle to get through the enemy defenses. And here is the history of the conflict. In the centuries following the Trojan War, Mycenaean society experienced a swift decline. The exact causes are unknown, although common hypotheses have involved massive Dorian invasions or infighting among the various Mycenaean city-states. Archaeological evidence and tablets bearing inscriptions in Linear B, an early form of Greek, point to clear episodes of warfare and wholesale destruction of numerous Mycenaean urban centers. This catastrophe ushered in a period of political chaos and uncertainty commonly termed the Greek Dark Ages. Notably, the city-state of Athens survived this turmoil relatively intact, perhaps due to the defensible nature of its impressive Acropolis. Seizing the opportunity to fill the power vacuum presented by the fall of Mycenaean civilization, Athens consolidated its control over Attica, Euboea, and eastern Boeotia. The proximity of Attica to the Aegean Sea made it an ideal regional nucleus for a major trading power, and the Achaean population grew quickly. Before long, the Achaeans were mounting expeditions to establish settlements on various coastal regions throughout the Aegean. Over the subsequent centuries, Athens evolved into a major naval power, establishing a thalassocracy, maritime empire, that controlled much of the territory surrounding the Aegean, dominating the trade economy of the region. From that center of power, the Athenians engaged in trade with numerous city-states in the eastern Mediterranean, as well as the Greek settlements in Sicily and southern Italy, a region later termed by the Romans as Magna Graecia or Greater Greece. During this time, intellectual and technological pursuits flourished through the Aegean. The Athenians went to develop the first system of direct democracy in the late 60th century BCE, as well as a unique form of exile known as ostracism. Each citizen cast a vote attached into a shard of pottery known as ostracon for a person they wished to exile. If any single person received more than 6,000 votes, they were forced to leave the city-state for 10 years. And with that, we have successfully colonized Ionia. Next episode, we are going to defend the city of Athens from a siege, but this has to be it for now. I thank you all for watching, and until we meet again, I wish you all a great time.